Okay, today we are going to learn how to factor polynomials by grouping them into groups that we can factor common factors out of. So on this one, you'll notice that this is 4 terms. So what we've been doing are ax squared plus bx plus c. And notice this is 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So we're going to factor it differently. So we're going to group this and group that, and then group this. And you'll see that the greatest common factor in these 2 terms is 8r squared. And you would multiply that by r minus 8 here. Oh, and I see this is the same thing on this side as well. So we would end it with 8r squared plus 1, and then r minus 8. And this is back what we learned a few days ago. All right, our second example then, I will rewrite it, is, and you should be writing this down too if you're doing this lesson, if you're watching this video in class, minus 21p squared plus 28p minus 49. So I'm going to group this here and here because I see that this has a greatest common factor of 3p squared. So I would multiply it by 4p to get this term, and then minus 7 to get that term. And this has a greatest common factor of 7. I would multiply it by 4p here. Oh, and then minus 7 over here as well. So my answer would be 3p squared plus 7 times 4p minus 7. On this one, then, it would be 12x cubed plus 2x squared minus 30x minus 5. So see, those are going to have a common factor in these. So I'll group it like this. And I see that this common factor is 2x squared. So this would be 6x plus 1. And I'm going to take out a negative since it's in a negative in both of those terms. So this would be minus 5, and then that would be 6x plus 1, because negative 5 times positive 1 will get you that negative 5. And so our answer then is 2x squared minus 5 times 6x plus 1. Okay, and on this next example, I'll rewrite it, and you should be rewriting it to 6b cubed minus 16b squared plus 21b minus 56. So this has a greatest common factor of 7. This has got a 2 and a v in it, 2v squared actually. 2v squared times 3v will get you 6v cubed, and then minus 8 will get you 16v squared. And this common factor is 7, so I'd multiply this by 3v to get 21v, and then minus 8 here. 2v squared plus 7, 3v minus 8 then is our final answer. Okay, sometimes when you're factoring, you have to take out a common factor and then begin factoring. So these, if you'll write these down with me, 63n cubed plus 54n squared minus 105n minus 90. I see that a 3 can go into all of these terms. So I'm going to factor everything by 3 first. So that's going to give me 3 times 21n cubed will get me that. 18n squared would get me that. minus 35n will give me this, and then minus 30 will give me this. Now, I'm going to go back to factor by grouping, and I'm just going to ignore this 3 for just a little while. So I'm going to put parentheses around this, and then around that, and that. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the 3, and I'm going to look here, and I see my greatest common factor is 3n squared. This would be 7n plus 6. And then over here, I'm taking out a negative 5 because I see there's a negative 35n and a negative 30. So take out a negative 5. This would leave me with 7n plus 6. And so this would be 3n squared minus 5 times 7n plus 6. And then I remember this 3 and I put it right there. And that is my final answer. So for this problem right here, we get 96n cubed minus 84n squared plus 112n minus 98. And so I see that I can factor out a 2 out of all of these terms. So I'm going to put a 2 right here. Then I'm going to say, all right, 48n cubed will get you this, minus 42n squared will get you that, plus 56n will get you that, and then a minus 49 will get you that. And so again, I'm just going to ignore this 2 for a while and group this. Factor this part by grouping. And I see that out of these, the greatest common factor is 6n squared. So this would be 8n minus 7 will get you those two terms. And then the greatest common factor in this and this is just going to be 7. This would be 8n minus 7 as well. So then this would be 6n squared plus 7 times 8n minus 7. And then I will go back and pick up the 2 that I factored out to begin with. All right, let's try this one. Okay, I can look at that and say, all right, hold up. There is nothing that will go into all of those. So I will just rewrite it. Minus 4m squared plus 28n minus 7m. And go, okay, I'll just group this and that. And I see in these terms, I'll get 4m, 4n minus m. And then here, I will take a 7 out of there and land with 4n minus m. And so the answer to this is 4m plus 7 times 4n minus m. Sometimes you have to rearrange the terms so they fit better so that you can then group them. So in this next problem, I have 4x y plus 6 minus x minus 24y. So I'm going to rewrite it. 4xy plus 6 minus x minus 24y. I see when I try to group that, there's no common term. And when I group this, I could get a common term of 2, but I can't do anything with this back half. So I'm going to move this 24y over here with the 4xy. So that would be 4xy minus 24y. Keep all the signs the same. And then I'm going to end up with a plus 6 minus x. Okay, now let's see what I can do. I'm going to group this, and then I'll group this. actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to rearrange these two as well. And I'm going to make this a minus x and then a plus 6. I'm going to put that in front. I think that might help me. Okay. So for here, let me just see where I'm at. I'm going to look at this, and I see 4y in both of those. So I'm going to pull out 4y. That's going to leave me with x minus 6. And here, I'm going to pull out a negative 1. So I'm going to pull out a negative 1, and I'll even just write it there just so you can see it. All right, negative 1 times what will give me a negative x? Oh, an x. Negative 1 times what will give me a positive 6? Oh, a negative 6. Okay, so this is going to be 4y minus 1, then, and x minus 6. And that is the end of our factor by grouping lesson.